Trump says he is friendly with North Korea's leader. Another group of migrants tried to storm into Spain. Hayden Panettiere just died. And we've learned more about what's happened. Tyra Banks is suing Netflix, and Netflix is fighting back. You have Ariana Grande, who just surprised her fans in a way that you are going to love if you are a Wicked fan. We have so much to talk about today. So much happened in the world, and we are happy you could be with us here for Hot 97 News. The news is newsing on this Monday, August 17th. I'm your host, Lana Harris. Good to see you. Glad you're with us. We are going to start off with your top stories, which are honestly tragic incidents that happened over the weekend. A lot of huge shootings that happened in a pretty unbelievable way. Some of them actually kind of played out like a movie script. It was that horrifying. So we're going to start out in Michigan. There were actually multiple shootings in this actual incident. So we have the video for you from what's been released so far. So what we can tell you is that 5 people were killed across these scenes, and the only surviving victim was actually a 13-year-old girl who was shot 4 times and then called 911 herself before the suspected gunman, whose name is Chad Hickman, was found dead in the woods. Insane situation. So this all actually happened on Friday, but then there was a manhunt into the weekend. That's why this continued to be a story for people in this area. They say they got the call around 11:40 a.m. from a home. And again, the caller, which was that 13-year-old girl, was telling police that her family had been shot.
Crazy.
Is that not insane? I mean, this poor girl.
Do we know how that girl's doing now?
She was actually in critical condition. I'm told actually that she's doing better.
Okay,
so
good.
her condition's gotten better, but she reportedly watched as a 40-year-old woman, a 16-year-old boy, and a 45-year-old man were killed.
Oh, that's like her whole family.
And that's like her whole family.
Yeah.
So her grandfather was the one kind of giving us these details about what happened and, you know, how his granddaughter called 911. And that was actually the only way police knew who the suspect was so quickly.
Wow.
So that's what prompted that manhunt. But if not for her, you know, they would have been starting from scratch.
Oh.
So kudos to her. That's, I mean, what 13-year-old girl or boy for that matter
What's going on with all these shootings?
would ever be thought to be put in that position? I know.
I mean, this guy was a little weird. You see this picture that I found of him?
Yeah, I saw that. And this is the suspect, right?
Yeah.
It's the suspect.
I mean, he looks pretty happy here. I don't know why he wasn't going around shooting people.
He does look quite happy.
Yeah.
There. But yes, so that's, again, what happened in Michigan over the weekend. And when they found him, they reportedly found him alongside a 29-year-old woman in the woods. So we will keep you posted on what happened in that situation. They have not publicly said what the relation was between the suspect and all of the victims, but he had, you know, a past with various crimes that he had been convicted for and arrested for. So again, no motive here and no relation to the victims. But that's what happened in this incident. And then you had what happened in Virginia. At Virginia State University, these kids just started school. There was a shooting here where 5 people were shot in this incident as well. And this happened near the dormitories early Saturday morning. Again, these kids are just now moving in. And the suspect was apparently reportedly hiding for 14 hours. At least that's when they found him. 14 hours later, they found him hiding in a closet.
Ugh.
So at that point, it turned into, okay, what happened? How did this happen? Who all was involved? Because the people on campus reported hearing like 100 shots, and they didn't have a specific number that they've released yet, but police did confirm that there were multiple shooters. So that's why it sounded like so much was happening. But they say this happened around 1:30 in the morning on Saturday. And again, this happened here in the residential heart of campuses, so where all the residence halls are. And yeah, they say, you know, they're here in rapid fire. This one student said he looked out his window and just saw people running across that residential area. And, you know, he didn't really know what to do. But then the RAs, who are basically kids themselves, RAs,
right.
You know, they're like
20 or
yeah,
21.
You know, sophomores,
yeah.
juniors potentially. So they're all trying to go actually outside of the dorms, call students in to get inside, and the whole campus goes on lockdown. 14 hours goes by. They end up lifting the lockdown, and then they find the suspect hiding in a closet.
So at least there was no deaths in this one, right?
Deaths in this one. They say that the 20-year-old man, I believe, had life-threatening injuries. Okay, I can tell you, first of all, the 4 victims, including the critically wounded 21-year-old were not enrolled at the university. I have a little note section for all the victims here. So you have a 21-year-old man who was critically injured, a 23-year-old man, a 20-year-old man, a 19-year-old woman, and a 17-year-old boy had injuries that were non-life-threatening. So again, the entire campus ended up getting locked down as they were looking for whoever was involved here. And of course, this is still a situation that they're investigating, but what a way to start your school year off.
And just around all those young people, that's messed up.
Especially because, all these kids have probably had some sort of an active shooter drill. I would think that they probably thought they were relatively safe when they moved out of high school. It seems like a very high school thing to have happen. When you're just now starting school 2 days, 3 days before, just now moving in, it's pretty unbelievable. So again, they're still trying to look into who all was involved and who might have been shooting in defense, who might have been shooting as an aggressor. Lot still to be discovered in this particular case. They also want to know how that suspect got into the dorm room to hide in a closet.
And he's not a student there?
Not a student. So we also had a situation in Kentucky. In this situation, one person was killed and 4 others were injured at a park in Kentucky. And this is the suspect in this case. This happened also on Saturday. A lot happened on Saturday this weekend. But the 4 surviving victims were said to have non-life-threatening injuries, which is good, but 2 of them were children. One was a 4-year-old, one was a 14-year-old. So that one happened around 7 o'clock. Yeah, this is a tragic weekend. And, I try not to start off the show with such grim, horrible news, but at the same time, these were big, impactful stories in these communities because it's, this kind of thing just doesn't happen.
Yeah, and I saw this guy, they said this guy's supposed to be 18 years old. He looks 40.
Yes, the suspect is 18-year-old and the person who was killed is 16. The one person who goes, so these were all very young victims. And again, it was at a park. So we will keep you posted if there's any meaningful update on these instances. But it is time to get to your top stories with your Lana Rundown.
It's the Lana Rundown.
Okay, starting off with your war report. You guys aren't even going to believe how bizarre today's war report is. It's juicy, but it's very bizarre. Or it's genius. You be the judge. So the update really started this past Friday when Trump said the U.S. was going to make the Strait of Hormuz a U.S. territory. He was talking to this event in New York, and he said it kind of seemed like he might have been joking, might have been serious, it wasn't sure. But he followed that up by posting this AI photo of him planting U.S. flag on a ship with the caption, "It's our oil tanker now." Post that around, almost 10 o'clock, August 14th. Now, if you don't follow Trump on social media, he does post a ton of AI memes. So this is kind of actually pretty status quo for him. Wasn't immediately clear if he was joking, though. So today he was asked about it. And here's what he said.
That you would soon declare the Strait of Hormuz to be a territory of the United States. Could you elaborate?
Well, I just think it's a great idea. Yeah, I mean, we control it. We control it with the blockade. We have a blockade. We control it with the blockade. And I like the idea of declaring it a territory.
There's about a 0% chance it happens. Nobody, again, really seems to be taking this very seriously, but the bravado taunt is interesting given what else is happening out there. It has to be part of the strategy here, is my assumption, because Iran and Oman are finishing up that deal for the Strait that would really take the bite out of the U.S.'s blockade, and Trump is not happy about that. So we can pull up the map to get on the same page here. Again, that deal with Iran and Oman would make ships go past Iran using that red route to come into the Strait, and they would leave the Persian Gulf using the green route past Oman. And if they solidify this, then shipping opens up in the Strait regardless of the U.S. blockade. Sure, the U.S. blockade would keep preventing ships from getting to and from Iran, but a lot of the traffic from the Strait doesn't go to Iran. It's Saudi Arabia and Iraq and Qatar and Kuwait and the UAE moving oil. So they could just leave right past Oman. They all surround the Persian Gulf. So if those countries then start using this route to move oil, then Iran can officially claim control over it. And Iran can then turn around and say, well, we don't know why the U.S. is blockading us anymore. The Strait is open. The traffic is flowing. There's no more justification for this U.S. blockade on us. Because remember, the U.S. put that blockade on Iran to punish them because Iran was punishing the rest of the world by threatening the Strait. It was a tit for tat. It really made sense. And it made it seem like the U.S. was doing this in defense of the whole world. And the U.S. was hoping to use this blockade to pressure Iran into reopening the strait and accept that this is an international route that they can't just put a toll on or control. They wanted them to make a nuclear deal. They wanted them to stop funding all the militias in the Middle East. That's what they were hoping this U.S. blockade on Iran would do. So if this thing just opens up and oil starts flowing and gas prices start to go down, suddenly the U.S. is just being a nuisance for no real reason. Countries may stop supporting the U.S. pressure on them, and the U.S. would lose a bargaining chip. So today, Trump reportedly said to Fox News, okay, if Oman gets in the way, the U.S. will just start bombing them too.
Bruh.
Oman is not an enemy state. Oman is a U.S. ally who's actually been trying to help mediate from the beginning. But again, maybe the bravado is part of the strat here because Iran's leaders are talking crazy in the news right now. Iran has been saying if the U.S. does not lift that blockade and agree to their demands within a few weeks, they're going to move from defense to offense. They say they will attack militarily to break that blockade if they need to. And they've reportedly announced a $30,000 reward for any man who kills or captures American service members and double that if a woman did it. $60K. So some people in the comment section have no clue what's going on here and are not happy about it. Jesse said, Trump has put our troops in harm's way for nothing. Iran was nowhere near having a nuke. That's from his own DNI. Intelligence director. This is an impeachable offense. Nolan took the opposite thought, though. He said, you know what? Good luck. We don't just have the best military on earth. We have the strongest and bravest men and women in our forces. You won't touch our soldiers. Good luck with that. So all that, honestly, is kind of besides the point. The point is these guys in Iran are not acting like they're losing. So all of that would be intriguing enough. But then Trump brought North Korea into this. The big, bad U.S. adversary with nukes and missiles that can reach the U.S. homeland does seem like the perfect time to warn everybody how mean and nasty and murderous and oppressive their leader is, basically to remind everyone why we don't want Iran to have nukes. But would you believe it? Trump actually posted a picture of North Korea's leader Kim Jong-un and him as boys. Squad up. He said, despite the unfriendly look on his particular picture, there are many where we're smiling. Kim Jong-un and I get along great. What? That was extremely bizarre and seemingly came out of nowhere, came from the depths of nowhere. And then the next day, yesterday, Trump said on True Social, based on my very good relationship with Kim Jong-un of North Korea, I'm not happy with the fact that the U.S. agreed to do these joint military exercises with South Korea a long time ago. They're expensive and a signal that is totally inappropriate and hostile to a country that, as long as Donald J. Trump has been president, has been unthreatening and respectful. So because it's too late to cancel, I told our War Secretary Pete Hegseth to reduce the joint exercises. And also, while somewhat unrelated, I recently asked South Korea's president if they'd like to join us in denuclearizing Iran, and they said no thanks. But it's unrelated. So if you read between the lines here, South Korea didn't want to help us with Iran, and now Trump is boys with Kim Jong-un. Says they're secretly besties who have a bunch of photos smiling together and do tickle fights on the weekend. Absolutely insane. So the war is going well, apparently. That's how it's going. We'll see what happens with that. Meanwhile, it's Jared Kushner to the rescue in the Israel and Hamas situation. Jared Kushner, of course, is Trump's son-in-law, has zero official U.S. role at this point. He's just a private businessman who ended up on the board of peace and negotiating with terrorists, U.S. designated terrorists, Hamas, on behalf of the United States. So he's got a big splashy resort property planned for the ruins of Gaza, and he is ready to get this show on the road. But Israel is still not on board with Trump's plan for Israel's forces to withdraw and get out of Gaza if Hamas disarms and gets rid of their weapons. Israel's saying, right now, we're not seeing it. In fact, Hamas is accusing Israel of holding more territory in Gaza than they really thought. So Jared Kushner went to meet with a Hamas politician in Egypt over the weekend, and Hamas reportedly said, hey, we're still on board with Trump's plan, but Israel's leader Benjamin Netanyahu needs to publicly accept this plan, needs to stop attacking Gaza, and at least needs to pull back to that yellow line. That was the original ceasefire line that left Israel controlling 53% of Gaza. Israel's been moving troops and honestly concrete and earthen barriers into Gaza, and now reportedly controls about 67 to 70% of it. So Jared Kushner and his diplomatic prowess then went to Israel today to talk to Benjamin Netanyahu for 3 hours. And honestly, nothing really came out of that. Netanyahu wants Hamas fully disarmed first, 0 weapons before they withdraw. They say they can't start reconstruction in Gaza and building those fancy schmancy resorts until Hamas has no weapons to threaten people with. Hamas doesn't trust that Israel will actually leave if they give up all their weapons first, so they're still not really moving the needle there. And we'll just have to see what happens. I will say, Turkey's foreign minister says Israel needs to cool it on the strikes in Gaza or else. He said that Turkey, Qatar, and Egypt might have to take radical steps if Israel does not stop striking in Gaza. Didn't say what that meant, but then yesterday, 9 countries, including Turkey, Egypt, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Jordan, Pakistan, and Indonesia, publicly accused Israel of blocking the Gaza agreement and asked the U.S. to pressure Israel into getting on board with this. So now here we are in the U.S., America, we are all watching to see who comes out on top here, the U.S. or Israel. There really haven't been too many times that Israel has blatantly disregarded what a U.S. president wanted, or honestly, times where a U.S. president demanded Israel to do something they didn't want to do. So we'll see where that goes as well. Meanwhile, crazy situation we have got to talk about in Morocco. Another round of migrants from Morocco tried to invade Ceuta again. So this is getting really strange, guys. Officials still have not nailed down who's coordinating this online. But yes, there was another round of social media messages urging people to go to Ceuta on August 15th. Again, another August 15th story. And I mean, there were reportedly Facebook groups with around 400,000 members who kept egging people on, reportedly. Who's going on the 15th? Are you ready? Whoever wants to join is welcome, just egging it on. And the hope was reportedly that another enormous crowd could overwhelm the security forces again. But this time, I will say the officials were actually ready for it. So before dawn on August 15th, the day everybody was supposed to move, Morocco basically locked down the approaches to Ceuta. And there were checkpoints all over the roads. There were speedboats watching the coast. There were drones in the air. And a helicopter was out there searching the hills. So this was not nearly as overwhelming as the last time, and Morocco's security forces did actually detain hundreds of people. In fact, the government chartered buses and took some of the people they intercepted 500 miles south of Ceuta so they couldn't regroup quickly. So Spain had forces on their side, and by Sunday, officials say they stopped this whole attempt and it's fine. Now, when I first saw this, I thought, why would the Moroccans do this again? Because the first time this happened, a lot of people just claimed they were duped, thought the borders were opened, said social media made it seem like everybody would be allowed in, so they went. At that point, 80,000 people were said to have stormed into Ceuta, and 90% of them, roughly 72,000, either went back on their own or were sent back. In fact, more than 50,000 people went back voluntarily. Got to Ceuta, had nowhere to sleep, nothing to eat, couldn't get to mainland Europe, said, never mind, this sucks, and they went back home. Now, what's interesting about this round is that most of the migrants that were caught were not from Morocco. They were from sub-Saharan Africa. People who saw what happened round 1 and potentially gambled that they could make it there too, and it would actually be better than where they were from. Thousands of Moroccans from the first round did end up staying, and Ceuta has reportedly been overcrowded and honestly pretty gross. Imagine thousands of people storming into your neighborhood and just sleeping on the ground. You know what I mean? How would that look? How would that feel? Probably something like this. So this time around, when they had this whole August 15th date going, the social media groups had proof of concept. They were reportedly in those groups celebrating how people did successfully make it without really showing what happened afterwards. So the biggest question here to me is, who is doing this in these social media groups? Because they're really getting people, upset and in a tizzy. And these people screwed because, you make it all this way just to either get turned back or end up on the street. Really is an insane situation. So I know this will keep playing out. We will keep you posted of any meaningful update there. In the meantime, we also had insane weather over the weekend. We had an earthquake and a hurricane in 2 different parts of the world. So we'll start in Indonesia first. There was a powerful magnitude 7.7 earthquake that hit Flores Island at approximately 6 a.m. on Saturday, August 15th, again. And it hit while a lot of people were either sleeping or inside their homes or otherwise just not really expecting the building around them to start crumbling. So they say that 68 people were reported dead 2 days later, August 17th, with more than 200 people injured. So obviously people are out there trying to rescue people, and they say the toll just keeps on increasing, of course, as people have found their way into more of these areas and started digging people out or just started looking for their family members or realizing they couldn't get a hold of anybody. But they say that more than 4,500 homes were damaged, or buildings, I should say, were damaged here. And 19,000 people were forced into temporary shelters. You have schools, you have medical facilities, you have public buildings, all damaged. And so thousands of people have been impacted this. And it was just because of an earthquake. The earth shook, and now everybody's in this situation. So they say that blocked roads and landslides then became a problem. And it really became a problem when they were trying to reach any survivors. So they've had military and rescue teams out there just searching for people on foot, just carrying medicine and trying to figure out, how to do the best they can for the people out there. So that's what's happening in Indonesia. And then skip over to our part of the world in Hawaii. There was a crazy, devastating hurricane that hit. Look at this. So this was in Hawaii over the weekend, also on August 15th on Saturday. And this was Hurricane Lala. So this just didn't even hit land, actually. The center did not cross land, but it still dumped so much rain on people there that it just swept about 100 homes from their foundations. This was a nasty storm. So it weakened into a tropical storm on August 16th, but the damage was done. And this here is showing you what the Rainbow Falls there usually looks like compared to what it was like during that incident. And they say that more than 43 inches of rain dropped in about 2 days. That's over 3.5 feet of water falling from the sky in 2 days. So there were flash floods. Of course, those just ripped trees from the ground. This is a road that you're looking at right here that people were driving on the day before. So there's a storm chaser out there who said that the worst flooding just tore trees from their limbs and blew out the roadways, which you can see. Thank God we have drones and people don't actually have to be in that area to get this footage. But they say that floodwater just started decimating both sides of the roadway, and it left a lot of people trapped. So they said that power just failed on a massive scale. Remember, this is Hawaii. This is an island. And they say 250,000 homes and businesses did not have electricity at the peak. So obviously they are still recovering at this point, but this is what nature will do. In fact, even as far as the winds, they're saying the storm produced a 140 mile an hour gust on the summit of Mauna Kea. So that's what everybody's been dealing with. Let us know what you guys think, because that is your rundown.
I feel like we're becoming like a crazy weather channel.
I know.
All these like crazy events like earthquakes, fires, and weather events just keep happening. And it's getting a little suspect.
It seems like we keep saying, oh my God, this has never happened before. And then the next day, there's another incident that just never happened. Like, why are there so many huge hurricane or wild weather events?
Right. All of this stuff has happened before, but not in this frequency.
Right.
It's
right.
crazy.
Right. No, I don't remember it ever being this bad collectively all at the same time. The wildfires were first, and then you had earthquakes, and then you had landslides, and you had hurricanes. And I don't recall this ever happening all at the same time.
Right. I feel like it's strange. Like the 10th time we're talking about such a big earthquake.
Yeah.
You know?
Meanwhile, gosh, somebody is pulling some strings in Ceuta.
No, that's weird.
Is that not really weird?
Everybody went back the first time. How is there a second wave?
Again, that's why I looked that up too, because I said that doesn't even make any sense. They got a different group of people. They must have. That makes sense to me, but who really knows? Because,
Yeah,
we're not
but-
in Africa. But at the same time, they said sub-Saharan Africa started looking at videos of people who did make it and said, okay, well, I guess I'll just go try too. Like, that would be potentially better than where they were.
Yeah. And I like my conspiracy theories, but this one has conspiracy theory like written all over it. It's so weird.
It really does. And it's very hard not to go there on live television, but we're not going to go there.
Okay.
Before we go to break, we do have to show you this because you cannot make this up. Seattle and Western Washington all got a piece of this wildly bright fireball that just tore through the sky.
Yeah, that's crazy. Did you see these?
I actually have not seen this video yet.
Oh, okay.
No.
It's crazy. Okay. We can get such good footage of this fireball coming down from the sky, but when there's a UAP or UFO drop, it's like 1990 graphics.
How are we spending this much on our
But look
military?
at this. Look how great we can see this.
And we spend so much money on the military, and
Right.
all the footage the military gets is garbage. Meanwhile, some of these cameras are probably like $30 ring-wise
Right.
camera, whatever
Right.
brand camera it is, and it's like crisp 1080.
Look at this. That's crazy.
That is insane. So hundreds of people saw this, and nobody knew what was going on. They say that this first became visible about 48 miles above Soap Lake in central Washington, and they say that thing was racing north at about 33,000 miles an hour.
Oof.
And so NASA says this was a roughly 16-inch, 170-pound piece of an asteroid.
If I saw this live, I would have thought the craziest things. I was like, oh my, I would think that's an alien coming down.
Oh,
for
yeah.
us.
Oh, we're cooked. That's what I've been thinking. So we do have so many more stories from around the country after this break. Welcome back to Hot 97 News, everybody. It is time to get to America's hottest headline today, August 17th. It is a new segment we are starting that's going to sound and feel a lot like the old one, but we just named it something a lot better. So, Will and I have been going crazy trying to figure out what can we name this segment that feels more like what it is. Okay, so let's get to it. The first story is in New York. It was a very sad situation. Police released a lot of details about this because it was not really clear what went on. There's a man who charged into a synagogue and hit a senior woman, headbutted a security officer, and the whole thing was caught on live stream. It's being charged as a hate crime. So this happened on August 14th on Friday. This is a Shabbat service live stream that caught all the panic and everything that was happening inside as this happened. So this was in Manhattan's Central Synagogue, and the suspect's name is Larry Montez. He's a 46-year-old man from Bronx. He was immediately arrested, of course. He was charged with multiple hate crimes, but he apparently, reportedly, allegedly, went in right after 6 o'clock, sat quietly for about 10 minutes, and then walked towards an area that's supposed to be closed to the public. So then a security guard questioned him, and prosecutors say at that point he just started screaming, charged toward where the rabbi was leading the service, hit and shattered 2 religious candles and their holders, which they say is valued at $10,000.
Yeah.
Is that for insurance?
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know.
Definitely.
Yeah, two of our candles are worth $10K. But he did that, and the rabbi retreated, of course, and then security moved in, and everybody's freaking out. He's screaming, everybody's screaming, because there was a loud pop actually as well. So one of the congregants thought, oh my God, does he have a gun? Never had a gun. He was just, wilding out. So, now he get arrested.
Yeah, that's sad.
Apparently, as the guards were escorting him out of the building, that's when he allegedly spat and headbutted one of the security workers who was 65 years old.
Oh, that guy needs to retire.
The security guard at 65, yeah. Honestly, though, who you think that you're kind of just in a cushy job at this point? Like, who's going to really run into a synagogue and do this?
These days.
These days?
It's a little different.
So he was arraigned. He was actually held on a $10,000 cash bail or $30,000 bond. That's not really that much.
No. Well, it's New York City.
And he's facing assault, criminal mischief, counts as hate crimes, aggravated harassment, all types of things.
It's unfair that the Jewish community, I'm assuming, but the Jewish community gets a lot of hate for what Israel does.
Oh, I
in the
know.
Middle East. You know what I mean? So I'm assuming that this might be related to that, but who knows for sure? But
Yeah. No,
in
you
general.
can never know, but at the
Yeah.
same time, for sure. And that's what my problem is. Like, I don't think that they should keep tying everything Israel does and everything Benjamin Netanyahu does to anti-Semitism, because it's like that's like tying what Trump does to me. I don't have any control over this. The people of Israel and Jewish people for sure have nothing to do with what's going on. So that is sad. They keep getting the brunt of all this hate. So, there's that story. In the meantime, this is in Arizona. This is an update. Boy, do we have an update for you on the grandma who tried to stop a shoplifter at the Ross Dress for Less. Have you seen this video?
Nope. Today was the first time seeing that she's gangster, but she didn't go through with it.
People keep calling her base grandma.
Yeah, but the guy got away.
Well, what is grandma really gonna do? She was trying to, trying to make him think twice about what he was doing.
Yeah, but what if he was armed? Then she would be putting herself in danger.
Well, then we were going to see what kind of aim she was working with.
I mean,
A shootout outside the Ross Dress for Less is crazy. This whole thing is crazy. So again, people are calling her base grandma. This actually happened on August 1st, but it just went viral on the 13th. So this happened again at the Ross Dress for Less on the east side of Tucson. And the people who work in the store say, okay, yeah, we have a shoplifting incident involving a man who just grabbed a bunch of stuff. And you can kind of see it in his hands there. But he was overloaded with suitcases, book bags, purses. And the store's theft alarm is blaring behind him if you actually watch that video. And doesn't actually show how he got all that stuff. I'm assuming he just
probably walked. But it's a Ross. Like, if he's shoplifting at Ross, let him go.
You know what's crazy? They usually have that security officer right by the front door too. So the fact that base grandma has to point a gun at him, it's pretty nuts. So again, he's just walking in the parking lot, not even running, carrying all that stuff. She was just a bystander at that point, saw what was going down and thought that she was gonna, put the law on him. Sad part is, police have finally found grandma, and now grandma's facing charges.
I mean, she didn't do anything.
They have no idea who that man is. That man, the suspect, is still in the wind. Meanwhile, they have identified this grandma.
She was just trying to be a good Samaritan.
That's probably what she thought. But they tracked her down yesterday, and they contacted her, and they say that she could be facing some sort of a...
Oh, they better not.
I mean, you can't just point a gun at people.
Well, if they're breaking the law, you can enforce a citizen's arrest.
Little citizen's arrest, but can you do that with a gun? I mean, if anybody could do that in that sense. Oh, officer, I was just doing a citizen's arrest. That's why I have a gun pointed at him.
I guess.
That's sad. Poor
it.
grandma.
Yeah.
Go on home, grandma.
Yeah,
because you're right.
Those charges are not going to stick on grandma.
But what if she fired and missed? You know what I mean? We can't just be encouraging y'all's grandmas to get a gun.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, crazier situation than this. A child who police say was high on cocaine jumped out a window.
That's crazy.
This is a 6-year-old boy with autism.
Oh my, dude, this guy was jumping off the walls.
Thought he could fly.
Oh, I bet.
Very sad, very sad. Okay, so this was a second floor window. Thank God it wasn't anything, higher than that. But at the same time, he makes it to the ground. Doctors end up discovering he had cocaine in his body. So deputies rushed to this apartment complex where this happened after a 911 caller reported that a kid basically just jumped out the window. So the boy's mom, who's a 30-year-old on your screen here, told investigators she was just asleep when her 6-year-old son, who has autism, got to the window. And she said, look, I've got all these childproof locks that normally stop him from leaving through the doors, but...
Okay, do you have childproof locks on your cocaine? Come on.
I thought you were going to say the window, because the window didn't have a screen on it. So, that sucks. Imagine you have the sun, and children are hard anyway, and you do get childproof locks for the doors, but you don't think about the windows or the cocaine.
Yeah. Come on. She deserves jail.
So, Child Protective Services got involved.
Obviously.
They're the ones who notified police that, he tested positive for cocaine. So, didn't say how or when he ingested it, and, it wasn't like...
Still, it doesn't matter how he ingested it.
It's what it is. So, that's that story. In the meantime, we also have a couple other crazy stories to include what just happened in Beverly Hills? Boy, this is exactly why.
Exactly why what?
I don't want to say it, but this is exactly why. So this was a brawl. A brawl erupted inside of a Steak 48 upscale steakhouse. Have you been to Steak 48?
No.
Steak 48 is expensive. Steak 48, you can get a steak for anywhere from like 80 to like $300. Nice steakhouse.
Oh man, they had to blur out the booty cheeks and everything. Everything was hanging out.
And listen to the details on this, because this is actually pretty crazy. So this video released on August 13th, a couple days ago, but it was going viral over the weekend. So apparently, allegedly, reportedly, there were 3 separate groups involved. I actually had not seen this video myself. This is so, do you know how
ratchet this is?
This is so ratchet.
So ratchet.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so they say there were 3 groups reportedly involved in this. There was one group of women that were celebrating a birthday. There was a nearby table of men who spoke Arabic. And then there was another woman who allegedly reportedly was not a part of either group. So 2 women from the birthday group basically start talking to TMZ about what they said happened. So again, this is just their accounting of things. They say that one of the girls at their table overhear one of the guys at the Arabic speaking table speaking Arabic, and she's excited and she starts talking with them too, because she also speaks Arabic. So she claims that one of those men ends up coming to the birthday table and saying, "Oh, we'll pay for your whole meal."
Oh.
So then this other woman comes up and allegedly sits on one of the men's laps. I don't know, maybe she heard this whole thing go down and said, "Oh, they're rich men. They're at Steak 48. They're going to pay for this whole, I'm going to go sit on one of their laps." I don't know. Allegedly, reportedly. That's what they say happened. So when the men were about to leave, one of the men reportedly asked one of the birthday women to tell the strange lady to get off their friend's lap. They didn't know how to say it. They didn't know how to do it. And they claim after they told the lady to get off the man's lap, she came from behind and just whopped one of them. Came on, began swinging and pulled the girl's hair. And that, you know how bold you have to be to fight somebody at a birthday table? That means like, these are all my closest friends who you've just hit me in front of. You're going down. And that's why it looked really bad on the birthday group table, because it was like, oh, you're jumping this girl. But at the same time,
you came for her.
You're gonna go hit somebody who has all their best girls with them? That's crazy.
Crazy.
So it's not clear if these birthday girls are lying or making it up, because the video starts when they're tussling on the ground, so, but that's what they say happened. Employees are trying to pull the people apart. Everybody's dining.
This is better than medieval times. You get a dinner and a show.
This is.
Look, it's.
Oh.
Yeah, there was boob hanging out, butt cheeks hanging out.
Oh, you're just real excited over here, aren't you?
I mean, a little bit. If I was eating, like, maybe not too close, if I was eating, like, across the dining room, and I'd be like, "Ooh, there's a show over there."
No, you'd be like, "Oh, I'm out here trying to have a nice night, spend like $500 plus on a meal, bottle of wine." All right, that's what y'all gotta go. And Beverly Hills at that.
Yeah.
Beverly Hills, Steak 48. Y'all don't know how to act. Anywho, boy, you got to hear this. The Atlanta Falcons got roasted in their own stadium, and it's the fans' fault, I think. I don't know. Here's what the other coach said.
Looks like you're going to continue that streak.
People dressed up as empty seats today, so anyway.
You can't really hear it, but this happened on the 14th. The Broncos were playing in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Of course, they're playing against Falcons. And he said to the reporter that the Falcons fans came dressed up as empty seats.
Yeah, that hurts.
This was at halftime. Mind you, the Broncos were stomping Atlanta at that point, 24-0. So she's talking to him about that, and he's like, yeah, well, their fans came up dressed up as empty seats. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So they say that, obviously, Mercedes-Benz Stadium holds like 71,000 people, thousand people. They say that there were 68,183 seats sold. So that's like 96 capacity. Meanwhile, the camera keeps showing the fan section and nobody was there.
Jeez.
Now, to play devil's advocate on that, it was halftime. So some of them could have just gotten up and gone to the bathroom. But, I guess he has a very winning record against Atlanta Falcons, and the whole thing was just very shady. And I did look, I was like, well, maybe it was just expensive. Because this is a preseason game now, so people don't just go to preseason games anyways. They're still basically trying to pick their roster for the season. But they say that some of these same-day resale listings for the ordinary seats were like $11 to $14.
Yeah,
so it wasn't even like it was expensive to be there.
Yeah.
Come on, Atlanta. Y'all got to do better. And Denver won 27-7. Got to be more careful. Anywho, let's get out of our rundown, shall we? I don't know, rundown. What is it now? America's hottest headlines.
Oh, we'll get it, Lana.
We're going to get it.
Yeah,
It's fine.
yeah.
Yes, because we wanted to tell you this other, honestly, very wholesome situation that also had to do with football. A man is playing college football at 47 years old.
That's crazy.
How old are you?
44.
Could you imagine?
No.
Boy.
I do not want to get hit like that. Are you kidding me?
I'm in my 30s, and the back pain, I can feel just secondhand back pain for what's about to happen to this man. Boy. So this is Justin Buzzard, and he said he is going back to college to play football because he was derailed in his own career when he was playing college back in the day. So he says that his freshman year in college was the last time he played football, and he's always wanted to go back.
Reliving his dreams.
This is a pastor, by the way, South Bay pastor at Garden City Church, and he said, man, I would like another chance at my college football career. So he tried out. First of all, he contacted the coach there at San Jose City College. It's a city college. And he said he was surprised when the coach actually responded back, tried out, and he made the team this year.
Good for him. Good for him.
Sounds like he said my knees hurt for him. My back, I literally have secondhand back pain
My
right
knees
now.
are in pain.
And my ankle. So he says that he's playing defensive end. Don't we have a picture of him like in the locker room too? It's real, guys.
Yeah.
He claims he's real. And the coach says that he feels like his age and his experience is going to be a benefit to the team. And I guess the coach often talks to his players about, not having anything unfulfilled and having no regrets. And so this is something that he can show people, it's never too late.
Oof. I mean, he's more than twice their age, all the other players.
Yeah, he's probably literally their dad's age.
Oh, yeah.
Which is pretty crazy, but his first game is on August 29th.
All right.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
I thought that was crazy.
Yeah, good for him.
I swear I had seen something where he had gotten some sort of injury or something that took him out of playing back in the day, but I mean,
probably.
Boy, at the same time, he got an injury back then.
He's about to get another one.
You about to, I don't want to speak that over this man.
But you're 47 running with 20-year-olds.
I know.
Oh, my Lord.
And if they're not raised right, if they're just legitimately, just trying to win the game, you could target him because a weak link when you see one.
Project Kang, thanks for the super chat.
Project
he says,
Kang,
shout out
out.
to ACL Terry.
Facts. Okay, we got to take this thing down to a very sad note.
Oh.
Because I was shocked when I saw this. Hayden Panettiere just died. Do you know who Hayden Panettiere is?
Yep, I watched Hero.
Did you? I swear I have not watched any of her recent shows. I will say that.
Me neither.
But at the same time, she was huge when I was growing up. And
She was
this
the cheerleader.
happened out. Yes.
Save the cheerleader, save the world.
Yes. She was a cheerleader. And I just thought she was so cool. She was 36 years old, guys. And you know what's crazy? They say she has like an 11-year-old daughter. They're reportedly very close. And it's just kind of seeming like it might be I don't want to speculate. That's the situation. But the streets are speculating at this point that it could have been drug related. It could have been overdose related. At least, when they had the 911 calls going, that's kind of what it was leaning towards seemingly. But, so yeah, you might remember her from Heroes, from Nashville, from Scream, or anything, that she was in growing up. But she died 5 days before her 37th birthday.
There are some conspiracy theories around this. She did recently come out.
Do that podcast?
Yeah. And she talked about how...
If you say it so I don't have to. I was debating on whether to talk about this because I was talking to somebody else about this and they said,
let's explain.
Hold on.
Okay.
They were saying, because I want to set the stage.
Yeah.
The person I was talking to about this said that they'd heard this was postpartum And I was like, postpartum from her 11-year-old daughter? How does that make sense? That's the narrative of what's going on. Because again, they get emergency dispatch audio saying there's an unresponsive female, a cardiac arrest, and a possible overdose. They didn't know at this point. So that's the stage that a lot of people kind of have an understanding of this. So now the plot thickens because...
Right. When she said she was 18, new to the Hollywood industry, she was forced to be naked with this actor. They don't name the actor, but, you know, it sounds like she went through like a Harvey Weinstein type of scenario when she was coming up in Hollywood. And she opened up public about it, and then all of a sudden, boom, she's gone.
But, you know, and that's how, like, rumors getting started. But at the same time, it's like you can't discount that.
Nope.
But she said that she had dealt with, you know, drugs and alcohol. But when you're in that world, Hollywood's a dirty place, man. And I don't think that's talked about enough. Because how many child stars have to come out and say that something is off here before we're all like, wait a minute. Because we, you know, it's all kiki, ha, ha, ha.
Right.
Oh, it's a celebrity. Let me get a picture. But they keep telling us something's wrong.
Like Diddy and Justin Bieber.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
Drake Bell.
Yeah. If you're young in any of like music or Hollywood industry,
I know.
You're just fresh meat.
Cooked.
Yeah.
Cooked. Now, again, the reports saying that she definitely died from an overdose, they are premature. Could be true, could not be true. It's still under investigation. But again, 5 freaking days from her birthday. And it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Not a lot of deaths like shock me, but but now we're getting older to where, it's going to be people that we like knew.
I mean, it's always been like that.
I mean, you want the people
it's always
that
tragic.
You grew up watching to be okay. You know what I mean? Especially when it's not like she just died at 90.
Right.
That's like, all right, girl, you lived a good life. 36, 5 days to 37 is tragic.
Just like Amy Winehouse. She was a big one. Yeah.
I know. Crazy.
Yeah.
So I do have something because I wanted to lighten it back up. I knew that. I just, you don't start off entertainment without mentioning Hayden Panettiere, man. But in lighter news, Ariana Grande surprised her fans. If you're a Wicked fan, you are really just going to be tickled by this. So she unexpectedly brought out Cynthia Erivo on stage with her. Did you get a little clip of this?
No.
Oh, I was really, because I hadn't heard it. I really hope that you had found something.
Well, we can't play it on
Oh, we can't?
TV anyway.
No. Oh, that's true. On YouTube, we would get flagged. Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, she is doing a tour right now. Ariana Grande is on a tour right now. This is her last leg of her Eternal Sunshine tour. She's in London doing it. I think Cynthia Erivo is from London. So nobody knew this was going to happen. It was a total surprise. And they say this is now a Glinda Elphaba reunion. They did one of their songs from Wicked. They did, what do they do? For Good.
Nice.
You didn't watch Wicked, did you?
No. Should
you
I?
You haven't lived.
Should I watch it?
I think you should. The second Wicked actually was not that good.
Oh.
Bumpy Johnson, let's go. Appreciate it. Gave a super chat. Anyway, to people who are watching on TV, join us on YouTube. We can see you guys in the chat. Yes, so that's nice. It felt less promo to the people who were watching. It felt just like a nice little homage, especially because remember Ariana Grande says y'all have run her away from show business. She was supposed to do something on Broadway. Now she wants to take a break and has, some time away from the limelight. So this is like, oh my God, you guys just did this for the feels.
Yeah.
This is so
good
nice.
for her.
Good for her. Okay, speaking of good for her. Well, I don't want to say that because this is a lawsuit.
Yeah.
Tyra Banks is suing Netflix, and that's not news. The news now is that Netflix is trying to fight back and trying to dismiss this whole thing, but Tyra is trying to sue them for defamation. Did you guys see the documentary on America's Next Top Model?
I did not.
I don't think this really hits a lot of people because I personally knew. Guys, I knew. Look at me when I tell you this. I knew I was going on America's Next Top Model.
Oh, yeah?
I knew it. I'm 5'10", almost 5'11". I knew. From when I was 13, they played this show. I was going on America's Next Top Model. My mom told me absolutely not. She said, you're going to college. You're not going to America's Next Top Model.
Good job, Mom.
So come to find out, according to that documentary, boy, those girls were going through it because it gets to a point where reality TV knows they need ratings. So it goes from like, oh, this is a cool concept to what's the craziest situation we can put these girls in that's good for TV and not necessarily good for them. Like, so you could leave just traumatized. You could leave with no real job. In fact, that's what they were saying. They were saying, man, we would come out, even if I was the winner, and real modeling agencies would be like, oh, that's that girl from that reality show, not that's this legitimate model. So you think that you're getting like a bunch of just freaking opportunities galore, and really you're kind of a joke is what they were saying. Geechee Dan, thank you so much. Appreciate it. But that's not even what the situation was that has Tyra trying to sue. Tyra says that the way they cut her responses made it seem like... Actually, the irony here is like insane. Made it seem like she was more callous to the girls' situations than she was. So basically, you know, this one girl's talking about how there was a sexual encounter on the show that was filmed, ruined her life, made her, you know, lose a relationship, XYZ. And it was an encounter that she was totally drunk for. She didn't want. It was very traumatizing for her, she claimed. And when Tyra was asked about it on this documentary, it has her saying like, and it made it seem like she just didn't remember the girl. And that's what she's saying. You guys cut me in a way that was not reflective of me. I say that's irony because that's kind of what these girls were saying. You guys put us in all types of crazy situations to make the show better. That's low key what she's saying that Netflix just did to her.
Yeah, I think she always had like a bad reputation while even the show was going on. It wasn't like a secret.
She was considered to be a genius for this at first. But
then
I do remember when people started saying, oh, she's hard to work with. But I was like, Tyra could do no wrong for me at that point. So I don't know.
Okay.
But yeah, there was, you know, Miss J had a whole thing. Yeah, anyway. So we got 2 minutes left. We got to show you this. We have got to show you what construction workers just uncovered. Do you believe this? What would you do? You're just, you know, doing your job, another day on the job, and you find $10 million in gold.
I'm not reporting it to anybody.
I'm shoving as much as I can into whatever
pockets you have.
Pocket that I have.
Why would you report this?
And I'm just penguining up out of there. Oh, guys, we got some gold back there.
Why would you report this?
You have to report this. You have to report it because this is getting out. 0% chance is staying a secret. The only thing you can do is shove as much as you can into whatever crevice you can and get yours and just report, oh yeah, I found some over there. That's what you have to do. If you don't want to have to, you know, go to jail, have all these questions, because this is getting out. You're not keeping a secret of all this gold.
Why not?
So they say they found 49 gold bars and 4,000 coins, more than 4,000 coins, estimated at $10 million to $10.4 million. I guarantee you, I can't say this with any certainty, but I guarantee you there was more than that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. If there were any smart guys among them, they'd be like, all right, put a couple in your pocket.
Yeah.
Don't say nothing.
Don't say. But you have to say so because the word's going to get out.
Right.
You have to say, you just have to. So these guys were apparently just installing sewer pipe under a former 1890s brewery.
Yeah.
And hit this gold, man.
They definitely kept some.
How about this? An 18-year-old student worker was the one on the drill.
Oh.
So they call the boss. They say this site is being converted to transitional housing for homeless people.
They could have blamed it on the homeless.
Blamed it on the homeless. The gold bars on the homeless? If the homeless knew those gold bars were there,
they'd be partying.
I don't even know if they know what to do with it.
Oh, of course you know. They know.
Would you know?
Yeah, you melt it down into something that's not recognizable, into something that they are, and then you sell it to a pawn shop.
Okay, step by step. Wow, I wasn't expecting that.
Of course.
What do you know?
You can't be traced.
I was not thinking about all that. Oh, but we have to go. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out. We will see you tomorrow.